Good morning. Welcome to this lovely morning edition of another Stoop Chat. Got my coffee, sitting here. I just need to breathe for a minute. Okay, so another Stoop Chat. And as I was working on stuff yesterday and thinking about the culmination of everything that I've been working on for the past month to get myself right on track, something that I have figured out is not what do I stand for as an artist, but it was just like, what are the components of my art that are important? What makes my art unique to me? Um, and across the board, like everything, like how I start, what I'm going to do, how I see it in my head, it all has the same format. They're all going to be, all the collections and things are going to be different, obviously, but the core of what my art is and like how it is going to come to fruition all starts the same way, and that's with story. So, um, one of the things that I don't know that many people know, but I actually went to school for film in media. I went to UC Irvine. I graduated with my degree in film and media. Um, and even before I was at UC Irvine, all like in high school and even in my first 2 years of community college, because I did 2 years of community college to get all of my GE done and like take exploratory classes before I transferred and I did my degree, my last 2 years at the UC. Saved myself a lot of money in student loans. FYI, big help there. Um, but one of the things that was true that I always knew was important to me was story and creative writing. So I have been taking I haven't been in a while, but all through college, I took either creative writing courses every semester, quarter, whatever we had, or a screenwriting class. So I had a lot of background in that already. And that's one of the things that, draws me in to why I love film, why I love certain things is story itself. And it comes back to, my favorite thing in the world that I've recently like, you know, like completely like had aha moment is that us as artists, no matter what type of artist you are, the main thing that we are trying to do is to create empathy, to make people feel seen and heard with whether it's through, if you're a musician, that's what you're trying to do with your lyrics. If you're a writer or a screenwriter, that's what you're trying to do with your characters that you're, putting out into the world. You're trying to make that emotional connection with other people so they can go, "Oh, I felt that," or "I know someone has experienced that. Oh, I get that. It's that means a lot to me." And even with painting and other arts, you do it too. So, um, yeah. So where this all comes back to for me personally, because story is so important. I think in story, like if if I'm ever alone, which I am a lot, or if people ever see me in my car or by myself and you see me going, yeah, I'm most likely like having a conversation in my head between two characters and I'm like hearing dialogue. It's just something I've always done ever since I was little. Like I can close my eyes and I can picture a whole scene, like played out character dialogue. I can see it. Um, So that's just how my imagination has always worked. So, how does this go with my art? So, at the root of every single one of my collections, there's a story. If I don't have a story for a painting or a collection as a whole, like a theme, then I don't know what to paint. Like I can't connect to that piece emotionally and then go, okay, I know what I'm trying to convey. It just turns into a big blob, especially if you're painting abstract, which I tend to do. I jump back and forth between figurative and abstract. Um, so like this painting behind me, which you can't see the full painting. Um, that was from my first Chemical Rapture collection, which was a collection that was based off of a series of songs that talked, like all the lyrics, subtly, not so subtly, both male and female voices being heard, like point of views, were all about like sex and relationships, and I was just like, how, like one of the things that I heard was it's either so blatantly obvious or so simply subtle. And I said, how can I translate that into a painting? So I picked a series of songs and, I listened to the songs like with my eyes closed, laid on the floor, stared at the ceiling, really listened to them. And the mood and beat of the song determined my color palette, but also like the reference photo that I used, like I planned out the entire story of who these two people were in this song. Not necessarily what the song was about. I created my own story in my head. And then decided how abstracted or not abstracted I wanted the piece to be. So every single one of my collections now, like every single one of them starts with story. Whether it is, I've gotten to the point where, as much as fiction prose are lovely, not my jam. I like screenwriting is so much easier for me. It comes so much more naturally to me. Don't know why. Don't know why. I'm a like a straight to the point kind of gal. Um, so I think that's why I like it. It's a little bit easier and it's mostly dialogue. Obviously there's direction and like, you're saying interior, living room, night, you know, so and so and so and so are sitting at the kitchen counter near the blah blah blah, and she turns to him, and then dialogue, you know. Um, FYI, that's how screenplays are written, if you didn't know. Um, so that is the root and spine of all of my stuff, and it's not something that I foresee ever changing. And I plan to actually elaborate on it more, where my little short screenplays or whatever length of screenplay per painting that I write, uh, I want it to be seen as well. So it's just like not only am I um, painting or mixing in fiber, other elements, you know, printmaking to create the paintings, I'm still at my core of who I am. Story is the biggest part of what I do, how I function. So, um, yeah, so sometimes, like right now, I'm in this process of like doing the writing. So I'm doing a Chemical Rapture 2.0. So I'm doing a second round of songs, and I've already figured out the songs. I've already figured out the kind of story for each one. I have them all written down on my note cards, and I'm taking one, and I've, like yesterday, I planned out all of the beats for this first one that I'm doing. Um, and it's interesting because I'm also working on some block printing blocks for kind of this project, but also another project. because I like the idea of pattern as character. And I also think it adds this lovely dimension to your pieces in like in a subtle way. Um, but one of the things that I journaled about last night was even though I'm being productive, nothing has like I'm not actually painting right now. So it's just like I don't feel like I'm making progress. But I am. And I have to tell myself that, oh, I am making progress. I am still being creative, even though I am not putting paint to a canvas. And that was just one of those things that's been not hard for me because, and that's why I'm ready. Like, if I get this one screenplay written, it's a short, um, then I'll figure out like what's the best scene to depict, the overall emotion feeling of it and put it onto canvas with painting, printmaking, fiber, kind of my mix of what I've been exploring over the past year. Um, so, yeah, that's kind of where my art journey is, you know, coming from. And it's what I've discovered about myself, um, I guess, over the past year and a half of what's important to my art practice, what makes me unique, what makes my approach to how I create different. Um, and I think that's important, to figure out as an artist. And it's taken me a very long time to figure this out. Um, I recommitted myself back to my art like back in like 2015 and started drawing again and painting and exploring with all sorts of mediums and whatnot. And I knew I always loved the female form, like the figure. So I started there again. But it was just blah. Like there was no, I was just painting or trying to draw for the sake of painting and drawing. But then as I moved further in, and it wasn't until like probably COVID, maybe after COVID, um, that I realized that all the paintings or the series that I was doing, like there was no, I guess it was 2019 when I did my Femme Bounty collection. Yeah. Um, that they all had a story. There was a theme to it. It wasn't just, here they're all kind of the same. It was, oh no, I had been mentally giving these ladies in my paintings stories in my head. So once I connected those dots and then really went, oh my gosh, I do love story. It goes back to what I loved as a kid. Um, and it brought me here. So it's just like, okay, let's hone in on that. Let's dial that in. Um, so it, so any new artists out there, like trying to like figure out who you are as an artist, don't beat yourself up. It takes time. And you're going to change over and over and over again. And I think that's the beautiful thing also about being an artist is being curious to explore different avenues and things to really find your voice and like what makes you unique. Um yeah. So that's my TED Talk for the morning. No, I'm just kidding. That's our Stoop chat for the morning. That's our Stoop chat for the morning is that finding what's unique to you and just owning it 100%. And it will honestly, it will make your work more honest. It will create more empathy in your work. Um, and when you paint from a place of joy and honest, like connection with your piece, it comes across to the viewer so much more. So go and create, go do whatever. I don't know how to end this. So happy Tuesday, everyone. Here's to another Stoop chat.